Can skip just to the D&D One D&D announcement, yeah?
Undeniable.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Dungeons and Dragons
There we go.
is a
That's what we want
thrilling
to talk about.
adventure. One we play together as Dungeon Master and players, but also an adventure itself.
Yes.
Now, we stand at the start of a new generation of Dungeons and
generation.
Dragons. And today, we're going to introduce some of what's in store
Accessibility.
for us as we embark on an initiative that we call One D&D.
One D&D to
Growing
rule
up,
them all.
I loved fantasy, but I never saw myself as the hero because I didn't think it was possible for someone who looked like me, who acted like me, who was like me to be that hero.
That's
Indeed.
why
You
D&D
need to
is
reach out
escapism.
to folks who are
D&D,
interested in
you can be
fantasy,
the
who
hero.
love storytelling, who enjoy spending time with their
Doesn't matter
friends
what
and
you look like.
creating these collective stories that they can remember for years to come.
D&D's been around for 50 years, and there's very little that persists
Oh,
that
bloody hell,
long
50
that becomes
years?
generational.
Wow.
That people can really just not
One-
only share,
that's
but
only
literally hand down to
11,
their kids.
12
what we wanna
years
do is
more.
just add to that legacy.
We did a
I've been
smart thing
alive,
with 5th
so-
edition by listening to the fans. And what came out of that process
Yeah.
was
They
a
listened to the
system
fans because 4th
that
edition
is
was bad.
stable,
Yes,
that is
4th
well
edition was
loved,
bad.
that
Not that I've played
incorporates
4th
the
edition,
best
so I can't
elements of
really
earlier
have an
editions.
opinion on it, but I've just
now
heard
that
that
we
it's
have
bad.
that, we are no longer in the position where we think of D&D as an addition. It's just D&D.
This
Just
edition
the
is a rule
D.
set that has worked for so many people and has brought so many
Just the D.
new and exciting folks into
I
the game.
think
It's more important
when
for
they
us
say there's
to
going to be a rule
continue
book
to
coming out,
cultivate
I
and
don't think
respect
there's
and
ever going to
love
be
what it
another
is,
proper
you know,
rule book.
that the
No,
world has
I think
told
it's
us
just
working
it's
for them.
they. I think they were saying it's going to be like a digitally updating month by month basis core
Isn't
rule
about
set.
changing any of that stuff that you love. It's much more about giving you more options, giving you more choices you can make, more character types
they
you
said
can
something about it
play,
being
more
backwards
magic spells
compatible
you can cast.
as well.
Basically, we're very happy with the game the way it is today. We just want to build on that. We're revising the major core rulebooks that every
We're
player
really happy
uses,
with the
Player's
game as it
Handbook,
is
the
today
Dungeon Master's
because
Guide,
it's selling like
the Monster
hotcakes
Manual.
and we're
Yeah.
making
My
so much
focus
money.
I mean, yeah.
specifically is the
That's
Dungeon
true.
Master's Guide. I'm going to make some structural changes to make it more friendly to new DMs.
I do like that
to
they are
Alpha
making it more
D&D,
accessible.
It's about as
Yeah.
versatile as our players. We want
Like,
to
it's
show
the
that
best time to be
the
starting
person
to
you
play
are
D&D
can
is
appear
right
in the
now.
worlds of Dungeons
Because
and Dragons.
it's
That's
never
what
been as accessible now,
2024 holds,
as it is
this
now.
promise of getting
Yeah.
new versions of the books that are
Especially
the
with
game
D&D
you know,
Beyond, it's been.
but
I don't know if
reflect
I'd have been
where
able
the
to
game
do
is
play
presently.
D&D if it
One
wouldn't
D&D
work for
has three pillars,
Beyond.
and
Oh, here we
Because
go,
it's
the
3
rule set,
pillars.
which is
Oh,
built on
yeah.
the base of 5th edition, but updated.
We're building upon the rules that have been established, the storytelling, and expanding our world and
Yes, that's
our
pillar
rule
one.
system.
When we say building on top of 5th edition, what we mean is that all the adventures and supplements that have been released in the past 10 years will still be playable with the new evolution
Yeah,
of
but it's always been
Then
like
there's
that.
D&D Beyond, which is
You've
the
always
base
been
of
able
our
to play,
digital
even if they bring
tools
out a
and
new book, you can
assists
still
for
play it the way you
players
want.
and DM.
Like, it doesn't change that.
Maybe they're going to make it
Players
so that it's
are
easier to
cobbling
adapt.
together all
Yeah.
kinds of different apps and websites to have a true integrated D&D experience. What we want to do is
go.
actually just provide all the tools that the players need to play themselves
Free
in
digital
one
content,
space.
free digital
Right now,
content,
with the
come on.
acquisition of D&D
They give you
Beyond,
free-
we've
they've been
already
giving away
started to
free
dip our
digital
toe
content
into
all the way through the
digital.
pandemic.
It was a
Shush.
fantastic partnership that we have
I meant
going,
with the
but we
purchase
can
of
add
books.
more.
Digital
They're not
physical
gonna do that.
bundles is something that we've wanted to do for
Business-
a long time.
business-wise,
and
it's
now
not
that D&D
financially
Beyond is
viable.
part of our family. It's finally
Digital
something
and
we
physical
can do.
bundles.
Your content is available anywhere you want it, and you have
That's what
those
we want.
physical books, but you've got nice portable versions that you can access
Makes
through
them
your
money.
phone or
They
through
make
your
you have to buy it
tablet or
twice. It
through
makes
your
them
other
money.
device.
It's a
Then
business.
Our
So
future-facing aspect of
They've
this
just
is the
said
D&D
that they're
digital,
looking
which
at
will
doing
become a
digital
full play
physical
space.
bundles.
This is what I'm
Oh, that's
interested
cool.
in. This is what I'm
Experiences
interested
that
in.
are more immersive. Right
But
now,
what I'm
we're
also
early
worried about
development
is
of our
how is this
digital
going to affect
experience.
places like
We can
Roll20,
play a
Fantasy
game, roll
Grounds,
some
Hero
dice,
Forge.
see the miniatures moving around in a 3D
Because
play
this isn't
space.
Hero Forge minis.
But that's just the core of it.
So is this going to affect Hero Forge? Are they going to make it so
We
that
chose
it's
the
also
Unreal
compatible
Engine
with
for
those?
several reasons.
Reason number one, make it look dope.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
I mean,
Number
it
two
looks fucking
is
awesome.
Take care of the
Heck
lazy
yeah,
DM,
but-
because we're all lazy DMs. Ease of use means being able to access all of the tools that you need in order to get the adventure started. So we used a camera technique called tilt shift. it actually makes things look small. We want to make sure that the experience for you is that you're experiencing a miniature set.
The tilt shift camera was really chosen so that people understood that this wasn't a video game, but it is a digital experience. We want to give people more minis, more options for character customization.
Those
you can actually
minis
change the
look
features,
amazing.
do what you want with it. And you're
Yeah.
going to use this
I
miniature
hope they
approach
give
to
the
tell
option
stories,
to use the
just like
camera
you
or
do in
not use
physical
that camera.
tabletop.
To have
Because
your
I'd love
character
to be able to like zoom in on the dragon's face, like stood underneath it if I'm attacking
transported
it.
there, but I'm not limited
Like a
by the
point of view
digital
camera,
technology.
a perspective of
give
you
you
from
a
your mini.
pre-made
That would be
campaign
amazing.
from
Hey, Gumdrop.
us that has an exciting
Honestly,
castle or
being
keep
able to
with a
see
dungeon
from the
inside
perspective
it,
of your miniature,
exciting
like looking up at a
NPCs.
dragon, would be fucking
But then
amazing.
you're going to be able to take this
Yeah.
playset, take it apart, and build your own.
Build
We're
your
gonna
own,
have a
yes.
really robust tool for you to be able to create your own dungeons.
This is just the start of One D&D.
They better make the
and
user
we're
interface good
relying
then,
on all of you
otherwise
to
this is
help
gonna
us
be
out and
difficult.
Figure out that future together.
We'll give you a really
What you're gonna be
robust
able
tool
to
to make
see
your dungeons. It's
starting in
called
August
Pen and
is
Paper.
a steady release of these playtest packages where you'll be able to engage with key aspects of the game, provide us with feedback that then we will
Yeah, I've already
digest,
had a look
process,
at it on
interpret,
the
analyze,
website. On
and
D&D
then
Beyond. It's
act upon.
D&D
Really,
Beyond
it's you shaping
forward
the next
slash
generation of Dungeons and
one
Dragons.
dash
and we wanna hear
D&D,
exactly what you have to
I
say.
believe, and you can see
Playtesting
all of the
starts
playtest material that you
today.
can do. And
Go to dndbeyond.com, download the playtest packet,
Which
and
already
get
done.
ready to let us know where you'd like this next leg of the adventure to go.
feedback. It's
Should we
great.
pause it there?
Do you want to have a? Should we have a look at the actual D&D Beyond slash?
We can do, and we can discuss kind of what we've just seen there.
I go
The-
to.
My biggest takeaway is the fact that they were mentioning coming up with digital physical bundles, because I bought the physical books for Spelljammer, and annoyingly it's been delayed releasing to the UK, so I've just had to buy the physical books as well. So I've had to pay for the books twice.
Don't you?
If they did
You
it
bought
so
the
that-
physical books, you pre-ordered it, and you've just had to buy the digital content. Don't you mean? You said
Yeah.
it the other way round. I was like,
Oh,
you'd already
yeah.
had the physical book on order. It's the digital books that you bought again.
Yeah, sorry, tired from work. But yeah, I've had to basically buy both sets. Now, if they did it so that I could buy the physical books and then pay £5 or £10 more and just unlock the digital content, rather than paying the extra 40 quid to unlock the digital content, then I would be much happier as a...
Oh, what, like if you just
somebody-
buy the digital book, if you pay an extra £5, you can have a digital copy as well? I'd pay an extra
if I buy the
£5.
physical books and pay like £5-10, I'd be happy to pay to unlock it and have it within D&D Beyond so that all of my players could then use the content.
Yeah.
I'd pay that. You know, I mean, I'm paying 60-70 quid for a set of Spelljammer books anyway. Like, an extra little bit on top is not going to make that much of a difference. So yeah,
here's
this
the
is
what is One D&D. So it's the core three pillars being the D&D rules, D&D Beyond, and the digital play experience. Start playtesting today, so you can unlock it all. So this is the how to playtest video, and then you've got you can claim your D&D. This is the materials that you can download. Explore new options, and then this is your feedback option. So obviously you playtest it, and then you're like, oh, this is cool, this isn't cool, ooh, this might not work. Head on over to the submit feedback, and then be like, hey, this works, this doesn't.
I'll let you go.
What? I'd stop talking. I was waiting for you to.
Oh.
And then you.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't they say that they plan for the rules to be finalised in like 2024? So that's
Something
like 2
that, yeah.
years.
So
of
it's 2
content
years
that they...
to playtest it, basically, for them to get it the way that the players want. And again, I don't know how I feel about it, because end of the day, if you don't agree with the rules, keep the old rules for your own game. You don't. There's no one twisting your arm saying, hey, this is the new release now, you can only play D&D this way and nothing else matters, tough luck. It's not like that at all. You can still do what you want in D&D. Like, just because a rule says one thing doesn't mean that you can't change that rule if you're the DM. You are the Dungeon Master. You and your players control the game. So if you all agree on a rule change, then that is the rules that you go with. Like, it doesn't matter what's in the book.
Maybe they'll actually implement that within the books. If there is
I know, but you're never going to please everyone. Someone is going...
No, that's what I'm trying to say, is if they get like a 50-50 split on the feedback, they could potentially put it in the rules saying, here is one way of running this rule set.
No, but they don't need
here's
to.
An alternative.
Why do they need to spell it out to people like they're morons? People aren't stupid. They know, as I said before, just because it says in the rules, you can't do this. Like, it says in the rules that a druid cannot wild shape into an owlbear, but it's fucking cool, so you let it happen, okay?
Yeah, but
it's against the rules. It's in the book.
The reason why you would implement a system where you could have both options is if you are running a digital online campaign.
Whether they state you have both options or not, you have both options.
Which is easier to do in person. If you're running a system through D&D Beyond, for example, you need to provide both options. You can't just provide one.
That's what Homebrew's for.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about core rules.
I know. I'm just saying, like, if you go, a lot of people like how we do it. Yes, we've got all the feats and everything unlocked on D&D Beyond, but we're playing on Roll20, and we're going by the rules in Paddy's books. We're not following anything on D&D Beyond. We're just using D&D Beyond because it's easier in terms of when you roll, it adds all your modifiers up, so you're not having to sit there going, counting your dice and feeling like you're holding everyone up, you know, on your turn. True. Because that's why when we were playing the physical game, I was struggling a little bit because I was getting self-conscious because I'm not that smart when it comes to maths. I was struggling to add things up because if you put even the tiniest amount of pressure on me, I can't add for shit. Give me all day in the world, I'll do it. But otherwise, I struggle with that. And you feel self-conscious, and that messes with your immersion if you're sitting there going, oh no, I'm taking too long to count on my dice, or I'll just skip my turn. You know what I mean? D&D Beyond takes that away so you can concentrate on the roleplay and actually have fun.
Yeah.
But you're always going to get people that are anal and will only follow the rules, and you're always going to get people that are the complete opposite and don't follow the rules at all. And then you're going to get the people in the middle ground that want both options. And I don't know. I just feel like it's stupid.
I think if they are going to say they scrap the player handbook completely,
well, they can't scrap it entirely because
no, in the sense of they're going to make it like an online digital experience where you can have specific rules. I picture the best way of doing it.
Exactly.
Almost like a jigsaw piece, a jigsaw puzzle, in the sense of you as the DM have this wealth of rules and possibilities, and you can almost click together the pieces you want and then run your campaign. Set up your campaign through D&D Beyond, and all of those choices you've made, all of those homebrew rules that you could potentially add in, are then automatically part of your campaign that you can click this extra puzzle piece
The one thing that I want more than anything is, for the love of fucking God, add lycanthropy and vampirism to the fucking conditions tab. It's ridiculous. It is a condition. It is a disease. You have every other condition in the fucking list, paralysed and fucking, grappled and all this bloody shit. But vampirism and lycanthropy, you've got to homebrew your own shit, word it all together, and then homebrew it into your campaign for it to work. Like, why isn't it just I tick this and it automatically adds everything that I need as a vampire or werewolf?
Paladin comes along. If you're saying it's a disease or a condition, Paladin comes along, cure disease.
Yeah, no, you can.
You're human now.
that is a thing. Or I think it's technically you can't, or it's a divine intervention thing. There's something in it, but again, you could rule that a paladin could just cure it. That is totally a thing.
Shall we have a quick look at this playtest material that they've brought, and then we can move on to the next part of the live stream?
Yeah, alright. So let's watch the how to playtest.
At Wizards Presents, we shared a
ton
of great
I don't know why.
D&D news, including
she is very happy.
The biggest D&D news.
It's just so much teeth.
The future of Dungeons and Dragons is coming, and you can be a part of it.
It's just I'm not used to someone being that smiley.
Today?
Yeah.
Today.
Smiley day to you.
Smiley day to you.
One D&D is a code name for the next generation of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I think that's right, Gumdrop, yeah.
D&D rules, D&D Beyond, and something we'll hear a lot more about later on in months to come, codenamed the D&D Digital Play Experience. If you missed Wizards Presents, you'll want to hear all about One D&D for yourself by checking out the World Reveal trailer, which is linked in the description, or our recap article. But if you're watching this, you want to know about the rules. And we want to tell you, because for this next part,
they're more guidelines than actual rules.
We're going to talk about how to be part of the One D&D playtest process, and then cover a few of the questions you might have about what's coming.
That make it the DM's code, so you have to be a DM to follow the DM's code.
We very much want to hear from you, too. So first things first, Michael, the people want to playtest One D&D. Where should they go?
It's super easy. So you're just going to go to dndbeyond.com/1-D&D. Or you can go straight to the homepage and click the One D&D button. From there, you can read all about One D&D, claim it for your account, and even get the latest news.
Way ahead of you, buddy.
Claiming a source on D&D Beyond means unlocking it for your D&D Beyond account, the way you might a new book from our compendium. And of course, there is no cost
that I had to buy again.
register for D&D Beyond or to claim and download the playtest materials.
Right, and you only need to unlock the playtest materials once. Once you have done so for your account, you'll be able to access them on a rolling basis. If you need to access the One D&D materials, you can find them just under the sources menu. Once you have that, well, Amy, what do you do next?
Well, like we said, the first playtest materials will be arriving today. So first, you'll want to check out what game design
I like that they changed it to your backstory, not your what race
set of playtest material, also known
it makes more
as
sense to me that
Unearthed
way.
Arcana, and then download it for yourself. These materials won't be integrated
Should we
into
go
the
have a quick
D&D
look at
Beyond
that?
character
Or
builder.
how long's
Will
left
be
of this
available
bit?
as PDF
this is quite a
We hope
video.
you'll
It's
look
like
through the
10 minutes.
materials, take some time to review,
Should we just have a quick
and
look at
let
the
us
PDF
know
or
what you think.
the actual?
If you want to try
the
things
actual
out
content
at
itself?
the table, that is great.
We can have a look. Let me open
She said scroll
the
up.
D&D compendium because I already have it. It's just the character origins at the moment. How did she say to look at it? Oh, here we go. Playtest. Open the playtest materials. Oh, that is the thing. Okay. You. Where's the PDF?
That's just frequently.
Hey,
asked
you can do it on
questions.
this thing. Clicks on the thing. Doesn't do the thing.
Go back by one.
Is it under sources? Is that it? She said it was under sources. One D&D playtest materials. Last updated. And then it's the character origins. So do we? Is it?
Download the
video?
PDF button at the bottom.
Here we go. Ah, here we go. Okay. So, Unearthed Arcana 2022 character origins. So your character races. These are the race options. Your backgrounds. Here you'll see that. Blah 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 blah. Like, where's the actual thing? Lifespan is the average from every. Yeah, I understand what all of this is.
Oh, so they're adding variant humans in properly and allowing you to have different languages by the looks of things?
Yeah. Well, your background basically gives you your ability score, a skill proficiency, a tool proficiency, a language, a feat, and equipment. All based on your background, not your race and that lot.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. It makes more sense because... Why, like, that's like saying that a human that was born in a desert and a human that was born out at sea. Why would a human in the desert be good at swimming?
Yeah.
But why would someone who's out at sea be good at surviving in an environment that has not a lot of water?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, by making it based on your background rather than your race, then it's the circumstances of your birth and what things you've done that decides what skills you have, rather than it just being, you're this, so you have this. Which I think is great. But who the hell plays humans? They don't even have dark vision. Ugh.
I think this is going to fall into that, because it says you can select different things. I think this is going to fall into that almost concept that I said, which is almost like it's going to be like a jigsaw puzzle of different elements you can add to properly create your character, rather than feeling pigeonholed into certain skills or certain lines of playing.
Celestial Legacy. I think it was one that someone was saying about how, you know how certain spellcasting classes only have certain spells and they don't have access to other spells. They're now saying that every magical class will have access to all spells, which kind of makes those spellcasting classes kind of lose their identity a little bit. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what they're saying.
Maybe they've put that out there to see what people's reaction to it is.
Well, I think it will be great for the magic classes that have a very restrictive spell list, but for those that have a bigger spell list, it's going to be like, oh, right.
I would see it making sense in certain occasions, whether if you have like a large core pool of spells that are just like, here are all your generic spells that everybody can
and then
cast.
Personalized spells for each spell class.
Say you take a warlock as your spellcasting thing. There will then be warlock spells that are spells that can only be granted to you by your patron, that are creepy, that have tentacles involved,
Always
that sort of thing. or there's one specific to wizards or sorcerer, but then there is a larger core group of spells. I think that would be pretty cool. But then would you start going down the route of changing the names of things? So if a sorcerer and a warlock can cast the same kind of damage force spell or whatever it is going forward, almost like an Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Would you then change it so that it would be like Magic Blast? So
Magic Blast doesn't have the same ring to it as Eldritch Blast, does it?
No, true. Or
But this is just going on about the treats and stuff of like your character and stuff. I'm like, mention your dark vision increases, vegetation.
We can have a proper look at this later, but at least, I mean, it's 21 pages. I was actually expecting it to be a hell of a lot shorter. It's like their first one, so...
It's pretty cool, like Artisan. So there we go, this is backgrounds. Now we're getting somewhere. This is what I was on about, because it was saying about your character backgrounds, and it's talking about your player race. And I'm like, no, but what do you get for your background? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the background features an ability score where you can determine your character's ability scores. Choose 2 of them to increase by 1, by 2, and the other by 1. Wait. When you determine your character's ability scores, choose 2 of them. And increase one by 2 and the other by 1. Sorry, I was reading it, I was like, that's not making sense. Alternatively, choose 3 ability scores and increase each of them by 1. Okay, cool. Because we actually did that. I've actually done that. Like, that's already implemented with Layla, my plasmoid. Skill proficiencies, choose 2 skills. Your character gains proficiency in these. Choose 1 tool set. The fact that you can choose it in the background means that you can literally do a fully custom background. You don't have to pick from pre-selected ones anymore. You can literally...
Yeah. But also
you can literally write your backstory and then have your background completely complement the backstory that you've written, so that all of the skills and proficiency that you have make sense because of your background.
And those are the same titles that were in Race as well. So if you want to have the reason why you're really good at swimming being that because you're a sailor, or really good at swimming because you are some kind of fish creature, then you can choose why you would have that kind of ability based on the correct place it should be. Which makes it a little bit better, I think.
Skill proficiencies, choose 2 skills your character can be proficient with, choose 1 tool, and choose your language. I mean, that's the thing. If you were, say, like my character, for instance, Talia. Yes, she was originally raised by her tiefling parents, but she was then raised by a drow when she lost her parents. So, if I'd made her character now, I could say that yes, she can speak Infernal, but she can also speak the Drow language because she was raised by a Drow. And that would make sense. Rather than be like, you can't choose that because your class doesn't allow extra languages and you only know Infernal because of your Infernal legacy. Things like that.
Yeah.
So, it just means that you can cater your background a bit better. But again, you could do that before, because you could just say, hey, DM, this is how I think that she would know this language. Can I have it? And they go, yeah, okay, I'll allow it. Boom. You know the language. It doesn't need to be on a bit of paper for you to do that. It's nice that it's now on a bit of paper, but you've always been able to do whatever you want in D&D, and I wish people would understand that you could do what you want because of D&D!
Alright. I suppose the one advantage of doing it this way is it makes it black and white for those rules lawyers. So that way,
this is
as a
more
DM,
for those just starting out, like you say. You know?
Yeah, and it gives more guidance as well. But at least that means that a rules lawyer can't come in and go, rah, rah, rah.
I mean, a rules lawyer can do whatever they want. Like, you're always going to have rules lawyers, and you're always going to have people that completely run on the rule of cool. Like, everyone needs to understand that you can't please everyone, and no matter what they do, someone will disagree with it. Like, that's life. You can't please everyone.
Is there anything more, or is it just backgrounds now?
You got Acolyte. So these are like this is what your background's about, and these are some of the sample backgrounds that you can get, like Acolyte. You've always been able to choose that. An Artisan, Thieves' Cant. Obviously, my character knows Thieves' Cant, and they get the.
Well, that's for Charlatan.
You get the alert. I like that you get the alert. Yeah.
Oh no, that's for criminal background.
Yeah, I that's the one thing I hate about these is the way they do it like this, and then you go across here. Because I'm like waiting for it to just continue down this way, but then that's a completely different section. It's like, god damn it. Ah, dear. But yeah, it's just an example of what you could do and how that background would then give you these specific equipments, these specific ability score improvements, tool proficiencies, languages, and whatnot.
Oh, guard as a background. You have to be a guard paladin and shout at somebody, stop their criminal scum.
Stop right there, crony scum, and nobody breaks the law on my watch. Yes, absolutely. You know it. Hermit. Some of these aren't available for me, but that's because I don't have the digital content. But I wonder if they'll be available now that I've accepted that playtest material, and I'd have more.
Starting languages? Possibly.
Yeah. So your standard languages, your common... Oh, they've added sign language. Was that always in there, or is that an addition? Because that's awesome.
I think that's new.
Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, Orc. So, Goblinoids. I like those to look like typical users. Like an example of the sort of people who would be able to speak those languages. Then you've got the rare things like Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, Draconic, Dragonic, Infernal, Primordial, Sylvan, Thieves' Cant, and Common.
Is that a new thing on Alert?
Rogues.
Sorry, I've just read that.
What?
Alerts. Initiative swap. Immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat.
Can't make the swap if all the ally is incapacitated.
Is that new?
I don't want to be that person that keeps saying this, but you could just say, "Hey, can I go before you?" And if a player says, "Yeah," most DMs would allow that.
I know.
Unless you're literally, obviously, if combat has started and you're like 50 feet away, you can't just swap. You know, to be closer like that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. But you know, if you're in the same area, then you could legit do that. I mean, some people run combat in that everyone decides each round who goes when.
Yeah.
I think that's complete pure chaos, and I couldn't deal with it. But some people do play it that way. I have seen people discuss like different ways of managing initiative and stuff.
One of the ones that I do like is applying a weighting system to the initiative rolls.
What do you mean?
So, for example, everybody rolls initiative, but the closest person to the center of combat, say you've got one individual that basically just gobbed off at the wrong person, just got punched in the face, and you then have to roll for initiative. That person who is closest gets a +2 to their initiative. Then if they're 30 foot...
Why would they get a plus... If
away,
they've just gobbed off and then got punched, that took them by surprise. They're surprised, therefore they'd be... They wouldn't... That wouldn't work.
But they would go before somebody who's 30 foot away from them, because they are closer. In the sense of, like... Still... Yeah. It's... I just like the idea that the closer you are to the centre of the combat, the higher up the...
Go. But then what would be the point... If it's who's closest, then what would be the point in rolling initiative? Other than, I guess, to decide once everyone's gone for the first round. Because you can do most of that you can do most of that, like, in what you would call a surprise round. Where you either get caught surprise, so all the bad guys get to go first, or you catch the bad guys by surprise, so you get to have a free round of combat before initiative is rolled. That would be the deciding factor of who's closest.
The waiting one was like, if you are within 5 foot of the centre of combat, you get a +2. If you are 15 foot away, you get a +1. And then if you're 30 foot back, it's a straight roll. You still have a chance, being 30 foot away, of rolling a nat 20 and being top of initiative. But it just like makes it for storyline wise, makes a little bit more sense that if you're closer, you're going to do stuff.
Well, you know, as I said, you can run it however you want. It's just down to this is why session zeros are so important, because this is the thing where you discuss your expectations of how do you want to roll combat, how much combat do you want, how do you want to role play, do you want more or less of it? You know, you get everyone all on the same page so that everyone knows exactly what to expect from your sessions, and then you go forward from there, and then you have your session 1.
Yeah.
So all of this shit is the sort of stuff that you want to talk about. That, but we can come back to that anyway. Let's go back to. Do we want to continue with this, the playtest bit, or do you want to go back to the?
We've kind of shown the process of what they're explaining anyway, of how to get through to the playtest material. So we may as well go back to the actual stream.
So this one.
That
Yeah?
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's continue from here then.
Don't think there was. Oh, there might be a few seconds afterwards.
Dragons is bright. Codename One D&D releases in 2024, but you can be a part of it today.
We've literally just done that.